Abusia, Michi Aramo Aquabason, Kosoe channel is so. I had a soy a bear media GH. Abusia, Ayadia, Honorable Sam George is on the run. A DNC, Nina said, MPP, the minorities, Oma Babontain, at the message. At the Abre, a your Honorable Sam George, Nina, F.A. DSTV, Hon sense. A Diana, the minority, Ababontain, at the Abecatre, a year, Honorable Sam George, Abusia, Omochomun say more. A yakwa say Honorable Sam George epese e de Ghana for enim eye form ena ensem o DSTV for enkan no na Honorable Sam George ababe ka say DSTV for SCC enso ye beda asore no na DSTV e de asem foforo e de aba ni na emfania Honorable Sam George e de ba bonten ho no abusia we de ma me kasa ompese ekonekotie ensem no mu kasa enchire mu efan free eye de minority eye de NPP and someone omo aba bonten abete anase abeka ede a kire eye Honorable Sam George na se wi na so wadwunche bia abomode na ya kire ya adwe hada so ebe media GH se enani de dikoni channel so a eni de no buo kwan so be so be jima hwe videos ni bi we are body our subscribe like no abasha for pence na bi atie no anya bi atie yentie ensemo a anase press release a the minority abusia omode abre eye Honorable Sam George of NDC na Sivina so wadunche bia ya bomode na ya kire ya adwe hada so ebe media GH edamase.
Firstly, MultiChoice publicly challenged him for inaccurately claiming that there had been an agreed reduction in prices. They issued a press release denying this assertion. Just yesterday, MultiChoice released a new statement clarifying that breakthrough the minister announced during his press conference as a result of his effective negotiations. In fact, they said what they were giving Ghanaians were merely promotional offers. This clearly aligns with what we stated in one of our earlier press statements. It is also demonstrated that the minister lacks the temperament and emotional intelligence for such a critical role. He has demonstrated this same trait on numerous public utterances, insults to citizens and industry players during the process. By adopting an arbitrary decision-making posture, the minister is also denying regulators, such as the NCA, the opportunity to perform their work according to law, which clearly threatens the growth of this sensitive industry. His actions also signal a breach of the president's code of conduct that requires candor and respect to all persons. Fellow Ghanaians, for this display of ineptitude, incompetence, and penchant for deceit, we of the minority demand that 1, the minister render an unqualified apology to Ghanaians for the waste of the nation's time and resources on this venture. 2, we call on him to account for the fines levied on DSTV. And 3, we deem him unfit to continue as the minister for this strategic ministry of communication, digital technology, and innovation, and therefore call on him to resign or for His Excellency the President to.
Of the Committee on Information and Communications is also expected to have a press conference today, and they will address the parliamentary press call on the DSTV brouhaha, and this is after the minority called for the resignation of the sector minister. So that's also an ongoing conversation. Ladies, 30 seconds each for both of you, and then we rise from the table.
So for me,
so you said Sam George
for the
must
DSTV,
go.
Well, for me, what he's doing, he hasn't shown any. I don't think he's taking his position seriously. This is the minister. How many? There are 11 agencies under the Ministry of Communication, critical agencies. NCA, Cyber Security Authority, GIFEC, all those places. And the minister thinks that the priority is to deal with DSTV.
Okay.
And DSTV is an ostentatious good. It's a luxury. It's not a basic. So why all this horsing around?
Let her have her final
When I heard they've done a press conference, I was taken aback. what is the reason for the press conference? I realize they're very unserious.
It's that the minister has not.
It
been
seems they
truthful to
want
the
some
people
form
of
of
Ghana.
entertainment. They've always been organizing press conference. I think they should channel that energy into fixing their party and calling their leadership to order.
Rosemont
No, let me
Obeng is
just
the
say. Let me
presidential-
just say this quickly.
I mean, if the minister
They
is serious, people be
they
serious.
called for a press conference to critique a minister who has delivered.
Okay, we'll have to go.
It just doesn't
We'll
make
have to
sense.
be-
How old is
This
GTV?
conversation-
How old is GTV?
GTV, GBC is 90.
GBC is what, 90?
65 to 25. So
90.
60.
Then you have a minister
and-
prioritizing a private business.
This was a cry of Ghanaians.
So here,
and he
here's,
should be taken serious.
here's your reminder to pay your TV license, *447 *333 hash. That's how you pay. These ones, we'll let them pay before they leave here. But it's also
You know what?
Cybersecurity Awareness Month, this month of October. So do take your cybersecurity seriously. It's Pinktober, and throughout the month, we'll be sharing some tips with you on air, online, and you will hear a lot about breast cancer. We'll take a break. When we return, there's a relationship conversation talking about what you need to do when you are dating for money, for people to be freshly employed and having to wait months for their first salaries to come in. Years
some
ago,
have
when
been
I
paid.
joined GBC, it
Some
took
have been paid.
4 or 5 months or 3 to 5 months
when I
for the
joined,
first
when I
salary.
joined,
So you appreciate the bureaucratic hurdle.
I joined public service. It took about 5 or 6 months
Like I said,
before I was paid. Right? It shouldn't be. And for a government that promised a reset, I don't think we should be hearing some of these things. But you are saying 5 months, I'm saying 6 months. So let's even say the average is 6 months. These people are complaining of 10 months. And usually, when it's like that, it's even the cohort that was employed at that time that gets affected. I don't think you were employed alone. The other colleagues, you all attended to at the same time. But in this case, because you see, your actions also make people suspicious. You came and you were laying off people that were employed by the previous administration. Is that formula being applied to our health workers too? That explanation must be given. But in 10 months, if they haven't been paid, it's worrying. And for me, my worry is nurses that have accepted to go to places that their colleagues are not going. There are a lot of interventions within the health. I remember when I was there, they were even considered when it came to continuous development opportunities, just to incentivize them to stay. Because there are some hospitals, clinics, polyclinics, health centers you go, there's nobody. But you go to other places. I remember one of the last things I did before I left the health ministry. We went to, there was retooling of equipment. That was around 2018. We went to the finance ministers, the current finance minister's constituency. Look, there was a health center, a health center with 2 autoclaves. One was being used, one was in a box. A few kilometers from them, one was boiling the equipment. They didn't have an autoclave. So some of these things you need to be very critical and monitor them properly so that you have the equity that we require
well,
for
government
it.
says it's working round the clock because it needs to ensure that
But for a
these processes are validated. So payroll
As we
challenges have also persisted. So
Thelma,
the need to ensure that
they can tell us, as we sit here, they've projected when the budget will be presented. It will be in November. Right. So why can't we be told when these people will be paid?
Okay.
Why can't it be projected?
So what will the NPP,
What
for
is
example, in Parliament
what
do
is a
to
budget?
support? What will the MPP in Parliament do to support the protesters who are on the streets? Are there any options available on the floor of Parliament for you to help your fellow citizens?
What are the options? The government reads its budgets. And I mean, budgets are definitely estimates, right? That's why mid-year you go and review it. Sometimes additional budgets are asked, sometimes nothing is asked in addition. That's why you review it, right? You read a budget. 10 months. They are not talking about 2 years for you to even say, oh, the previous administration did you read your budget? The budget you are implementing now is your budget. So how did you plan for these people that haven't been paid? And you can't tell us, you can't give us a projected date. There's nothing wrong with giving a projected date, just as you give projections for all the plans we put in place. We plan. Things happen. So why do you tell them that, oh, if I give you a date, I will be lying to you? It's not a matter of surprise and attack. It's a matter of planning and being consistent with what you are giving to the people. So I think the minister could have been a bit more specific. Okay, we've projected that by maybe end of October, maybe 30th October or 20th October, we'll pay you. But it's communication. If getting to 20th October, the plans does not allow that promise, there's nothing wrong with communicating to them that we said 20th. But about to just leave it in the vacuum and say, I can't give you a date, I don't think that is.
I wish I could have, done another round, especially on this. But I also want us to spend a few minutes on how busy GES has been this week, issuing statements against caregivers, people trusted with the welfare of learners who appear. So because you see, these are all legal matters. You have to say who appear to have taken advantage of these learners and the responses and the fallouts that have come out of that. So perhaps let's move to that, because I'm very, very passionate about these things. Yes, so the 10 months unpaid salaries for the nurses and midwives quite important, and government says it is working on it. The minority thinks that 10 months is too long. By now there should be some clarity. It's an unending conversation, like the Galamsey one. We'll come back to it, I'm sure, at another opportunity. But here's what has happened this week. So a viral video circulated on social media showing an assistant headmaster in charge of academics at KNUST Senior High School. It was named as Mr. Charles Akwesi Edu, in what some say is a compromising position with a female student. The video reportedly, because these are also legal matters, shows him fondling the student, and the GES issued a statement and said it was a serious violation of professional and ethical conduct, and so it announced that Mr. Edu had been removed from office, dismissed, and prohibited from going to the school pending the investigations. And the GES said it saw the matter, it viewed it as with utmost seriousness and will apply the appropriate disciplinary action as per the GS Code of Conduct. Now, that matter did not even die. And then, sometime yesterday or the day before, we saw another video circulating on social media, this time allegedly showing one teacher who was named as Mr. Info Richard Tibeto, a teacher at Atigya Senior High School and Technical School in the Jasika Municipality, Oti region, engaged in, they call it an act of sexual misconduct, but the video appeared to show the teacher having sex with the student in what appeared to be a school setting, whether it was a classroom or an office. Again, the GES issued another statement and said that the man had been suspended from active duty during the investigation, prohibited from entering the school premises until investigations are concluded. GS condemned what it called the unacceptable, unethical, and a clear violation of professional code of conduct for teachers, which had been perpetrated by this man. And in both cases, viral videos have been circulated. And my worry is these are young people who have been entrusted in the care of these very, very older personalities. I'm hearing that the student at the KNUST SHS has come out to say that she's not 13, and so she's 19. Whether that
does that
changes your impressions on this or not, I would want to hear it. Let's start with you, Rosemond. KNUST, but you mentioned Katanga. Then these are the baby Katangis,
yes,
and the young KNUST university people, and this happened. So, what do we think of the enforcement of codes of conduct on teachers in schools? Because this problem did not start today. relationships or alleged relationships between teachers and their students have been ongoing for a while. How have we not been able to make sure that this doesn't happen?
Okay, so what has happened is very appalling, and it made me wonder the people who may be still doing it in the dark.
Who haven't been caught.
Who have not been caught. So that is what took a chunk of my attention, you know. But we could use these people as scapegoats. That is what I think. Those are my thoughts. I think that we should not in any way